Hey guys, today we're going to be checking out the brand new Quantum Mechanix Star Trek The Next Generation Captain Jean-Luc Picard 6 scale figure. This is also the Quantum Mechanix exclusive that's going to include the phaser rifle as well. Alright, so this guy gets himself his own display stand, in this case, Next Generation bottom display stand. And then on the underside, you've got Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Star Trek The Next Generation, QMX Quantum Series Articulated. It has the adjustable neck, so you just go ahead and take old Picard and just adjust the back clip up here, and you can get in the stand. Also helps too, these stands, if you know, you want to have him slightly off-kiltered off of his one foot. It kind of does a great job of compensating for that. Stands really well though. One of the one of the notable things is Picard here has no apparent behind. We'll get to that in a second. Let's have a look at the figure. Alright, so let's start with his face first, and then we'll kind of work our way down. I think his face is really good. Sculpt-wise, I think McCoy might be my personal favorite for accuracy level to the original actor. But I think Picard's pretty close, though. Likeness to not only Jean-Luc Picard, but obviously Patrick Stewart, who played him. I think it's pretty good, and I think they've nailed the likeness. It does look certainly a lot better from some angles over the others. From the front on, I see more Picard than I do from the side. Angled on an angle, I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I think good job by Quantum. All these individual wrinkles that they put in his forehead here, and I love that they've added like a warmer area around the cheek portion. It's a little darker when it comes actually to the top of his head, but it has a natural coloring to it. It doesn't look artificial, which is sometimes, you know, 6 scale figures can either be made or be broken by good paint sculpt, or good paint to the sculpt. This one actually is pretty good. Paint, I'm really happy with how the paint turned out. Now, because his eyes are also shinier too, if you get the light hitting it just right, yeah, it gives you that nice bit of realistic life to the face, and of course a lot of personality then to the eyes themselves. Again, there's a side profile of him. You know, a side profile even is not that bad on him. There's the other side. I think he looks personally more like Picard than Kirk looked more like Kirk. I think his likeness is a little bit better than the likeness on the Kirk 6 scale figure that we've already looked at. Now for his outfit, he's got his Starfleet uniform. Now this is the uniform that is the individual shirts, so of course you can have Picard always pulling down his shirts. It's not the one single uniform that they had in the original series. Of course now this one has the collar as well. Gone are these stripes, also on the shoulder area here, and as the blips, of course the blips would be on the side, now are on the top area of his collar. Picard's got his 4 blips there, showing his captain rank, and as well there is his insignia, which would also serve as his communicator. This is a separate piece. Be a little careful, of course, because the way it's affixed to the uniform, you would not want to actually clip that and pop this off. Material, nice choice of material that they've gone with for his costume. In fact, the material itself really does have a fairly accurate read to it. It does have a noticeable zipper on the back. There's really nothing that they could have done for that. I don't know why the zipper on the front bothers me. I mean, it kind of detracts a little bit for me that the zipper is on the front, and that the pants, the material for the pants, isn't quite the same black as the black on the top and the section here, because it really has a definitive line here where this seems darker than this section right here. We'll go ahead and lift up his boots. Now his boots they have the little strapping that wraps around the bottom heel here. This is a real fabric, a real material here, so it's not plastic. Like the Kirk and the other classic figures that we looked at, this here is an actual material over top of the boots, like that. And of course you've got the little V cut there that on the bottom portion of his leg. He is also very flat. From the front, he doesn't look so bad. From the side and then from the back, you really notice that poor Picard actually has no behind whatsoever. Very, very flat here. Doesn't really bother me so much because I'm going to be looking at from the front. Again, more than anything, this zipper seems to bother me, the fact that it's so visible here. He also gets himself actually a fair number of accessories, one of which being the exclusive. It's actually one of my favorite exclusives that we've gotten from the Star Trek series. The Bones and the other characters from the classic series, of course, had harps and phaser rifles and stuff. Like Picard essentially gets a phaser rifle as well, but it's the updated Next Generation phaser rifle with a little scope that pops up and down there. Be actually fairly inclined to display him with the phaser rifle myself. Nice silvers and blacks there as well, the yellows and whites for the buttons. He gets a smaller version of essentially of the phaser rifle in a more portable phaser, the more tried and true phaser that we see in the show. And it's got some nice black lining there as well, black on the front. Simplistic in the buttons, but again accurate to the show. It has its own holster, so you can slide that into place. And it's magnetized, so it just clips very easily to the side of Picard's waist. While we're also on the topic of magnetic things, he does also have a magnetic holster here for his tricorder, which we can go ahead and slide out. While we're also at it, let's just go ahead and attach that to the other side of his waist. The tricorder is actually rather clever because as opposed to making it hinged, what they've just done is they've swapped out a hinge in favor of a magnet. Let's go ahead and take the tricorder apart. It's just two pieces. So it's magnetized at the top, so it attaches itself, essentially closing it shut. But then it also magnetizes at the bottom if you want to have it as an opened tricorder. And there's the detailing on the tricorder itself. Very, very small detailing, but has been executed very well. Just really a series of stickers that have been applied to it. And there's the front of the tricorder. You can either put the tricorder and phaser in his hand, or again, you can take the two and slide them just down into the holsters and just display them like such. While we're also on the topic of accessories, it does also come with his mug of Earl Grey tea. A slight translucent liquid to it. Also comes with a control pad for his captain's room, or really any room for that matter. Colored nicely in red, and then you've got some sticker application here on the top and on the bottom portions. There's the back side of it. Not to mention he does have a ton of different hands. Some flat palms, partially gripping hands for any number of the accessories. He's got one for his Earl Grey. We can go ahead and just attach that. It just wedges the thumb and the pointer finger in between the handle, so you can get him to hold the Earl Grey fairly easy. He has one for his phaser. He has kind of the engaged hand. Closed fist, a couple of closed fists there. Another gestured hand. And another partially closed or partially gripping hand. Picard gets himself a fair sufficient amount of articulation. Now, he does have a ball joint. It actually sits right at the base of the neck. You can rotate him all the way around. Not that you would want to, but you can do that certainly if you want to. Hinge arms, so the elbows hinge out. Basically all your double hinged elbows. All the goodies that you would want. Swivel in the forearm. A rotation and hinge there. He's got an upper torso crunch as well as a waist swivel. Forward and back motion on the legs, a swivel cut on the thigh, you got your double hinge knee, and you got your ball joint in the ankle portion here, as well as a good sufficient ankle pivot. I think it's super cool that we're now getting next generation figures from the folks over at Quantum Mechanix. Had to, of course, start with Picard, which overall I think the Picard turned out pretty good. There's a little few hiccups of him having the really flat behind, and of course a notable zipper on the front. That can be a little detracting, but I like the accessories. I like the face sculpt, and I think overall, I think everything that I would want Picard to have come with, he actually did come with. Just shy of his fish and his fish tank. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how the figure turned out. He should be currently available now. Picard is shipping out, so if you guys want to add him to your collection, I certainly don't blame you. And again, I'm really excited to see what Quantum Mechanix has lined up for future, not only classic Star Trek figures that we've already been looking at, but also next generation figures as well. Today, once again, we're checking out the Quantum Mechanix Star Trek Next Generation Captain Jean-Luc Picard. There he is right there. Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise. Stay tuned, guys. If you certainly like this video, you're a subscribe button click away from not only joining this community, but also seeing all the other previous videos that I've done on this channel. You also like Star Trek? There's probably going to be a playlist set up for you, and you're good to go. As always, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.